Ah, Rupert, you're there. Where's your beard gone?
Oh, I was enjoying you watching you sweat a little bit there, Richard, actually, while I was waiting for you to connect. I thought, shall I join or shall I let him do a solo live for another 5 minutes? Nice to see you, mate.
My
Yeah,
heart rate went up a bit.
beard and hair's gone for Christmas. Yes, my New Year's look, mate. Looking a little bit. Well, I'm 50 this year, so I thought I'd make an
It's
effort.
taken years off you. You look better without that beard.
To be honest with you, mate, it's a little bit of Delilah, a little bit of a ring light, and plenty of Colt 51. How are you?
Very good, very good. Yourself?
Yeah, very good indeed. Thank you so much for inviting me on again. It's nice to catch up, as always.
Yeah, and great to have you. We should do this more often.
Yeah,
We've got plenty of people coming in.
I was thinking how long it was since we did the last one. I think it was the summertime, actually. Yeah, plenty been going on in the last 6 months, and lots for us to talk about, some bits to pick up on from last year. But can you hear me okay? Is it all working all right?
Yeah, we can hear you okay. And I suppose we should start with the new year. Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah, happy New Year.
What should we be doing in this new year?
Good. Well, listen, good question. You know, it is that time of year where, well, you know, funnily enough, I've been speaking to some people recently who have said, I'm not going to do resolutions this year. They've said, I'm not going to do resolutions because I always break them. I'm going to set myself some nice realistic things that I need to get back to doing again. And I think that's quite a good way of looking at it, right? But certainly when it comes to your sort of makeup routine, you know, most of the women that I speak to normally when I sit them down to do their makeup say, oh, I should be doing more, or I should be doing a little bit better, or working a bit harder at this, that, and the other. But my question to you, seeing as we're all going to the gym and eating better, when it comes to a skincare routine, what should we be doing? What are the simple, I guess, changes that we can make to our skincare routine that we should be doing in 2023?
Well, my best beauty tip of all is to get rid of your magnifying mirror. That's my first tip, because you only ever see what you see, and if you magnify what you see, you magnify your own insecurities. But in terms of skincare, I think well, two things really. Number one, always simplify. You know, right. A lot of people are using too many products, too much layering. Layering can cause reactions with chemistry, also fills your pores. And what you were saying about resolutions, I mean, achievable goals. I would say set yourself one or two things that you want to enhance or change, whether it's your makeup or your skin, and concentrate on products that are going to deliver that change. So I pick on two.
For example, you know, what would be a good example of two things that we could focus on?
I think hydration versus moisturization. So what's the difference? Moisturization sits on your skin, and the heavier, let's call them heavier moisturizers, you know, can play havoc with applying your skincare. And your hydration is inside your skin. Yeah, so, right. You know, I think one of your tips is just put a little bit of water on to begin with, so your top layer of skin absorbs that moisture and is a little smoother. But that moisture comes off quite quickly, and your skin sort of shrinks and shrivels, and that can upset your makeup. So hydration, that's what Cult 50, well, not all of Cult 51's about, but all of our products hydrate. So moisturization is sitting in a bath of water. Hydration is drinking a glass of water. So all of our products deeply hydrate, which gives you that surface for your makeup and also keeps you hydrated. And the other thing I think is luminosity, because these things can be picked up quite easily. Luminosity is brightness of skin. Yeah. If you have brighter skin, it's easier to make up, and also you use
less makeup.
You have to use less, so it enhances.
So your routine's going to be easier, your skin's going to look better, your makeup's going to last longer. But listen, let's just go back to the hydration thing, because here's one of the resolutions that I need to make with skincare, right? I'm really good at doing skincare in the morning, all right? So I have a shower and wash my hair, get out, get in front of the mirror, do what I need to do. And that's when I feel like I need to be doing skincare, because you know, my skin feels tight and dry But I know, because I've spoken to you about this before, that really I should be moisturizing at night as well, right?
Oh, hydrating, darling, hydrate.
Hydrating.
Yeah, well, at night time, your whole body is on repair and your skin is primarily on repair. You're always on repair, but one of the reasons we sleep is to the body to say, thank God you've stopped, let me repair all the damage you've done today. So nighttime, most products, most active products are more powerful at night. So if you use a good night cream,
Yeah.
you know, you're ready in the morning. And then if you use a good day cream, hour one particularly, I'm going to say hour one, obviously, is a corrector, primer, luminosity. So on our day cream, in terms of luminosity, brightness of skin, obviously the brighter your skin is, brighter skin is associated with younger looking skin. So with our day cream, for instance, on average, we increase your luminosity 8% in 30 minutes. Now 8% doesn't sound a lot, but the best expected from laser treatment is 7 to 9%. So it's a hell of a lot. And in terms of hydration, 24 hours. We don't say long lasting, we say even 24 hours after your first application of day cream, you're still on average 28% more hydrated. That's inside your skin. And of course, if you're more hydrated, your makeup's going to sit better.
Well, let's talk about the hydration thing for a little bit, because one of the questions I get asked a lot is, you know, how should I prepare my skin for makeup? And look, as professional makeup artists, if we're doing shoots, you know, we're doing London Fashion Week, anything like that, we spend a lot of time prepping the skin so the skin looks absolutely perfect. My tip, and you alluded to it before, was about hydration, and in makeup we call it contact hydration, right? So when you step out the shower and you run your hand underneath the tap and dry it, immediately your skin looks smoother, because that top layer of the skin, we call it the stratum corneum, right?
That's it.
Yeah, that sort of dead layer, the sort of horny layer, that just soaks up moisture like a sponge. All those skin cells kind of plump up, right? And then I find that makeup goes on very, very smoothly. But to your point, that water evaporates off very, very quickly. So I'm always talking about, I mean, I like things like face spritz and stuff, and I like a very kind of light lotion that goes onto the skin, so the skin is getting that hydration. But what I don't like when I'm doing makeup is anything that's got a residue to it, you know, anything that feels like it's kind of oily or emollient, for two reasons. One, you're going to look more shiny throughout the day. And two, that kind of residue on the skin is going to interfere with the process of the makeup. So if you want your makeup to last all day, that sort of emolliency, that oiliness on the skin is going to interfere with that, and your makeup just won't last as long. So for me, I need something that absorbs and really doesn't kind of leave anything on the surface of the skin. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I mean, the more the product moisturizes, the more emollient you're going to feel left on your skin. Yeah, so with all our products, for instance, they totally absorb within about 90 seconds, something like that. Yeah. And all you'll feel is soft, smooth skin. There's no residue. I have something which I get into trouble for when I say it. I have something that says you have to pass the knob test, which I think I've told you about before. So if I put it on my hands like this.
We've been on six minutes and you've said knob already. You know.
So I put it on my hands like this, make sure it's well in. I give it 90 seconds. And then you've got to be able to turn a round brass knob on a heavy door without it slipping. Yeah. So that means it's totally absorbed. As long as we pass what I call the knob test, then I'm happy with its absorbency. It's got to totally absorb. Your skin should just be left skin, soft, smooth, luminous.
Yeah, okay. So listen, just one, because I mean, I know I end up asking you loads of questions, but you are a wealth of information, and I also enjoy it because you tend to say something controversial now and again as well, and I spend my life quoting you. Oh, Richard from Goal 51 says, and then I say something controversial. But okay, so look, here's the thing about moisturizing at night, right? And I'm going to speak for the people who are watching already, and also the customers and clients that I work on, right? I know lots of people not cleansing at the end of the day, right? If they're not wearing makeup, all right, they don't feel a need to cleanse. If you're wearing a full face of makeup, then you will get out the dreaded makeup wipes and sit in bed and wipe all the makeup off, right? But if you're not wearing makeup, you're not always cleansing. Tell me the truth, right? if you're not cleansing at the end of the day, is it still okay to just whack your night cream on?
Not really, because you've got buildup of pollutants,
Right.
multiple pollutants on your skin. And if you then apply any night product, you are sealing those pollutants in. So this is not good. You should cleanse, and I'm not going to say this cleanser or that cleanser. I mean, even soap and water is okay, as long as it's cleansing your skin. You can use better cleansers, which help hydrate your skin, which helps close pores, which helps firmness. You can spend out on that, but you should cleanse.
That's okay. So that is going to be my New Year's resolution this year. I am going to take some time, and men, I know men don't often do it, but I am going to take some time to do a proper cleanse and moisturize in the evening as well. So listen,
for instance, you shower in the morning, I shower at night. So I get my cleansing in at night. Nice. I wash my face in the morning, don't get me wrong, but yeah, I cleanse at night.
That's really interesting. Okay, all right. So maybe I'm going to challenge myself for a month. Shower at night. Okay, maybe we're going to challenge myself.
Should you be the best for work, or should you be the best for your missus? Which one?
I'm going to leave that hanging right there. I'll leave that question hanging. Answers in the comments, please. Okay, look, so look, when it comes to kind of resolutions, I get asked a lot, about kind of makeup routines, and simplicity is one that I really agree with, Richard. I think the makeup routines can be complicated. There is more information out there than ever. Every day we are bombarded with how to do this with your makeup, how to do that with your makeup, what are the latest trends, a sooty eye, a bubblegum lipstick, and all of that stuff is really, really good fun. But I do think that a simple makeup routine that works really well.
What would be your tips for simplifying your makeup routine? I mean, what should you start with, the base, or I don't know?
Okay, so look, it's about cocktail. I'm glad you asked, because I have a makeup stand right with me here. Look, it's about cocktailing products together. Don't you cleanse in the morning and at night time, guys? Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Alison.
Yes.
I think we've agreed that I am going to start cleansing at night. So look, my top tip for makeup will be to start cocktailing products together. Just because you've got a lot of products, it doesn't mean you need to sort of apply each one on its own. So let me give you a great example. As you know, and you and I have played with this product quite a bit, this is our underwear primer, and I really like something to go underneath the makeup to stop it being absorbed in the skin. It makes the skin immediately look smoother and creates that nice sandwich between your foundation and your makeup. But there's no reason why you couldn't take, a pump of your primer, and it needn't even be the Delilah one, it could be your favorite primer, and then just pump in a little bit of a liquid illuminator as well. You were talking about boosting luminosity. Mixing these two products together on the back of your hand, cocktailing them together so that you're priming the skin and getting that luminosity immediately is a really, really good, just a really good trick and just a good habit to get into, So I would definitely say that. I'm a big fan of kind of dipping brushes in two powders at the same time. So cocktailing your powders together. I've got a bronzer here and I've got an illuminating powder. Take them both in your hand, grab a brush and dab both. You see professional makeup artists doing this all the time. They'll get a little in here, a little in here, a little on the back of the hand and onto the face. So I would say if you've got lots of products at home that you love, you feel like you're not wearing them or you're not using them, just try cocktailing them together a little bit. You'll get a better result, and it's certainly fun to do. Someone's just asked here, Emma, primer plus which product? Emma, I was saying the liquid illuminator. This one's Luna, and I would say, yeah, about a quarter of a pump. Just mix it into your primer, or mix it into your foundation as well. It just means you'll boost that luminosity every single day, especially this time of year, and it'll be much.
What's your tip for not over applying? Because I know with skincare, and I know working in the industry, the same with you, we see people, and I can't help judging people by their skin because that's what I do. You can't help by the makeup. And some people are just over applying. What's a little trick about learning how not to over apply? It's a million words, but
it's a great question. So when I used to live in London, I used to get on the tube and go in to work every day on the tube, and there are women doing their makeup on the train every day, and I would watch, Richard, fascinated as they applied their makeup. And what I noticed about most women is they spend most of the time wiping their makeup back off again. So what they do is they put some product on, they realize it's too much, then they spend a lot of time wiping off. You know, actually the key is twofold. Number one, if you're applying foundation, use a brush. You will apply much less and it will buff really easily on. And then the second thing, and I talked about this recently in the Tips Tuesday when we were talking about blusher, is you need a kind of point, you need a touch point between you and the product. And that's the back of your hand. So if
this is my favorite tip of yours ever.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad that somebody's watching. But what I notice that women do is they take a little product onto their finger and they think, I have no idea what's going to happen here. Same with skincare. And they put it straight on their skin, and it's normally too much. What we do as makeup artists is we always dab a little onto the back of the hand. And then you've got a really small amount and you can apply a little bit. And you've got a little bit, and if you need to, you can go back to here. The big mistake, if you're using your fingers, if you're using a brush, you know, even if you're dabbing a brush into a compact, tap it on the mirror. Just have a middle step where you put some product on an applicator, a middle step, then onto your skin.
And build gently.
Yeah, build gently. Yeah, exactly. So listen, same question. How much skincare should we be applying? Because
Well, I would always say simplify your regime. There's a lot of people who will layer. They'll use an eye, then an anti-wrinkle, then a luminosity, then a anti this and anti that and anti that. Find something which delivers multiple benefits. So if, for instance, our night cream, the routine for that is cleanse, apply, face, eyes, neck, sleep. Within 90 seconds, you can lie on a silk pillow, no problem. And there is nothing you can comment or measure about your skin it does not improve. And we go
Richard,
to all
say that
stats
again.
on the website.
What did you say there? Face, eyes, neck, sleep.
Yeah, that's it. So it does everything. There's nothing. I mean, we, as you know, we go through fully independent, full clinical testing on everything.
Yeah.
And this isn't one of those things where it says visual assessment from 6 feet. This is laboratory equipment where we physically measure the depth, the width of the wrinkle. We physically measure the hydration using equipment, luminosity, the firmness of skin. So tightening's bad, firming's good. So that one product does everything you need at night. There is nothing else you need. So that's simplification.
It is.
Same with our day cream. Apply, face, eyes, neck, wait 2 minutes. You can make up, even oil-based makeup, as you know, because you and your good lady are firm users, as are we at Delilah.
We are firm users, in fact. And I was just, as I was saying to Carleen the other day, who does the PR for us, you know, I like talking to you because, well, there are many reasons why I like talking to you, Richard. One, you're not a makeup artist. You're not a makeup artist, and you often say controversial things about makeup, which make me roar. You also are always very refreshing when it comes to skincare, you know. But more importantly, we met 8 years ago, and Juliet, my wife and business partner, and I have been using Cult 51 ever since, right? It's all that we use. We absolutely love the product, and that's saying a lot because we get gifted quite a lot of products. We research quite a lot of products, but we always come back to Cult 51. So congratulations, sir.
And thank you, because we're the same on Delilah. All our photo shoots, guess what makeup we're using?
Well, I knew that there was something when I was looking at.
Although we can't afford you yet, Rupert. But, you know, we'll get there at some stage.
So listen, we've got a few things to get through today. I think what we've done is exhausted the kind of New Year's resolution thing. One of the things we did want to talk about was hyperpigmentation, because one of the things that as a makeup artist I get asked about a lot. Now, traditionally, the advice that I try not to BS anybody, Richard, and when people ask me for tips and tricks about makeup or about things, I try to be as straightforward and as honest as possible. And my view on hyperpigmentation has always been, you know, once you damage the skin with hyperpigmentation, there's very little you can do. You need to use an SPF to stop the hyperpigmentation getting worse. hang on, and for those of you who don't know what hyperpigmentation it is those darker spots on the face. And then I've always felt like you needed a good concealer to learn how to cover it up, until you showed me something miraculous the other day. Can I share it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just for the viewers.
You don't even know what I'm going to show. Well, hang on a second. Right?
You wanted to talk about hyperpigmentation, but
okay, right. Okay, so this is, so tell me who this is, Richard.
So that's Harriet Metzger. So we have a claim that says we will reduce the color intensity by a minimum 57% within 3 months of blemishes and things like hyperpigmentation. We know we can go further than that, but you don't want to overpromise. So I said to the Daily Mail we could do this. The Daily Mail said, no, you can't.
Well, this is very typical. I mean, I see, you know, when I do makeup, I see this type of hyperpigmentation a lot on the forehead, you know, often on the cheeks. And for me, this is sun damage, right? And this is normally from sunbathing without the right SPF. You've got sunburned, right? The skin's produced, you know, pigmentation in that area to protect it. And, you know, it's not gone away. And that is very typically what I see. And as I say, normally if I saw that, I would say, yeah, there's not much you can do about that. You just need to cover it up. So go on, carry on. What were you saying?
So we said we could reduce the color intensity at a minimum 57%. They said, no, you can't. So we got this model, Harriet Metzger, and the viewers can go on if you type in Daily Mail, Harriet Metzger, M-E-T-Z-G-E-R. And she used the night cream for 3 months. And the before, as you can see, there's a very large issue here of hyperpigmentation. After 3 months, it's virtually, if you look really closely, you can see 2 or 3 little spots. And also different
ethnicities, right? And
that's her after without makeup, which is stunning.
That is utterly unbelievable, Richard. So how long did it take to achieve that result?
That's 3 months. And, you know, different ethnicities, so Asian ethnicities can have hyperpigmentation breakouts with hormonal changes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Especially pre and post pregnancy. And also it can during menopause and things like that.
Right.
So
I've seen that. Yeah. I've seen that.
So we can take it down up to virtually eradication, as we did there, but also we help prevent that. So all that is a cell that holds its melanin. So melanin in your skin is okay, but when a cell...
It's what gives your skin color, right? The melanin is what gives your skin tone, right? Okay.
So if you have too much sun exposure, you can cause what's called cell mutation, apoptosis. I'll get too technical and geeky in a minute.
I like it.
And all that is a cell that holds its melanin. What we do is we get that to release its melanin and act normally. So that's all it, well, I say that's all it is. It's quite, I could go on about an hour of how it happens, but that's what it does.
I think it's I mean, when you first told it to me, Richard, as you know, because we were chatting on the phone, I nearly dropped the phone. You know, I think it's absolutely amazing. And for me, and I've been doing makeup nearly 30 years now, I will change what I will be telling people when I meet them who have got hyperpigmentation because of what I've learned and you know, because of what your product does. So, I mean, I think it's
and usually no one will believe it. That's why I always say, look it up on the Daily Mail for yourself.
Absolutely.
Go to the pictures. The first after picture, she's got makeup on. Keep going down and you'll see one of her in a gym kit where she's got no makeup. And then if you look really closely, there's 2 or 3 dots left.
I just think it's amazing. I mean, you know, what's interesting is since you told me, I have, and I've, you know, had very similar hyperpigmentation in the same area. You know, I'm a child of the 70s. I'm not great at putting SPF on. I'm continually telling people to do it, but often find myself in a situation where I haven't done it. So I did end up with some hyperpigmentation here, and it has gone. And now I've realized it's probably because I've been using Cult 51 all this time, you know. I thought it was just my own amazing genetics, but it turns out...
Well, it could be. And, you know, with SPF, you... when you use an SPF day cream, say an SPF 50,
yeah,
you won't actually get enough on. It is the product SPF 50, yes it is, 100%.
Yeah.
But to get SPF 50 on your skin, you need to put an awful lot, much more than you think.
Is that right?
So if you imagine about being on holidays. So people of my age, but 60s, darling, we used to lie and fry. You're more likely to put oil on and literally
Correct.
burn.
Yeah,
So the older you are, the more likely you are to be sun damaged. So when using day cream with an SPF 50, you don't use enough of the SPF 50 to have SPF 50. You still get some protection.
Right.
So, you know, do protect yourself from the sun as well. But when you're wearing a day cream SPF 50, just be aware it's not SPF 50 it's not, your skin has not got SPF 50 full protection on.
Yeah, that's
so
really,
just be aware of that. Wear a hat, you know, just
Yeah.
keep out of the sun a little bit.
It's really interesting. I mean, hyperpigmentation. You know, I have met women, and I've met guys as well, who find it, who find it crippling. You know, it's a challenging thing to cover. Look, the reason is, let me see if I can get it up again. It's not a brown color; it's a grey brown color. You know, hyperpigmentation has a sort of greyness to it.
How would you normally go about covering it? Because it's difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Look, I mean, there are kind of, as always, there are kind of two answers. You know, the first answer is to pick the correct concealer. And traditionally, with a concealer, you know, we've been taught to go a shade lighter than your skin tone, right? Because traditionally they would say, okay, if you're covering something dark, you need something a little lighter. And when you put it over the darker area, it'll balance it out. But those of you who are watching will know, if you use concealer, often you put a lighter concealer on and it turns grey. The colour turns very, very grey. So actually more modern thinking is to use a more orangey coloured concealer. So that Harriet, who we
Harriet
model, where she had that very dark brown grey colour on her forehead, I would be tempted to use a more orangey concealer on that to correct the colour, to knock the greyness out and bring up that kind of orangey tone that you naturally find in the skin. And then, you know, either apply normal concealer over the top, or you can then go in with your foundation. And I, as you know, I have two different formulations of foundation. But if you feel like you need some coverage, you know, and some people, especially this time of year, actually, where the skin is more translucent, it's a little bit paler, so your skin is looking pinker in areas, those brown spots, that hyperpigmentation that you don't like is showing through. A more full coverage can be better. A more full coverage foundation can be better at this time of year. Now, full coverage foundation doesn't mean that you're going to wear a mask of color. I would still advise to just use a really small amount and buff it on where you need it. And as I said before, Richard, the key to not putting too much on is to use a really nice brush or even just a makeup sponge to pat it on. The last thing I'll say about fuller coverage foundations is these foundations set. So actually what happens is you can touch them and they're dry to the finish. So there's no transfer. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The problem when you put a layer like that on the skin is it often kind of dehydrates the skin a little bit. So what I tend to say is if you're wearing a fuller coverage foundation this time of year, you need to double down on your hydration beforehand, you know, and I would say hydrate the skin really, really well. Give your skin, I know that you were saying about 90 seconds, but I always say give the skin kind of 3 or 4 minutes after you've hydrated before you start your makeup. So do your skincare. Maybe if you're doing your hair before you go out, do your hair next, and then do your makeup. And that way everything will absorb into the skin and a fuller coverage foundation will sit on much, much better.
Yeah, so with hyperpigmentation, because you've got two different colors, that's what makes it difficult. And then I also see examples where, you know, you spent a lot of time on the face and then your face looks a different color to your neck.
Yeah.
So what we always say about that is use our neck and deck, because our neck and décolleté product very much brightens that skin, firms it. And the results on that are absolutely amazing. We do it live on air.
Yeah.
And we use, this is going to be terrible now because I'm going to mention somebody's name. We used Helen Disney, who's like 70 something. And so live on air, she has got what do they call it? Turkey neck.
Whoa, I was going to ask you to be careful with your language there, but
She applies that around the chest, and also, and it's a trick with night cream as well as the neck and deck. Don't forget to go right around the back of your neck, right up into the nape of your neck, because there's a lot of skin here. And if you're old enough to remember the old comedy sketches where they used to put a bulldog clip on the back of the neck to give themselves a facelift, when we firm all of that skin, not only does it help the front of your neck, but it also just firms up the jowls as well, just as a byproduct.
Yeah.
And when you make that neck much smoother and much more brighter, because even smoothing it out increases the brightness, because as you smooth it out and smooth the skin, light bounces off.
It reflects better, you're right.
Evens up the did you call it the base tone of skin and neck? So it evens it out much more.
Absolutely. Yeah, brightness and luminosity. You know, it's such an. It's something that I talk about in makeup all the time. That anything you can do to increase that brightness and luminosity. Okay, well, listen. Let me follow up. If we're talking neck and deck, with some makeup tips, I always prime onto the neck. So before I was talking about primer onto the neck as well. Do I put foundation on the neck? Well, as always with me, Richard, the answer is twofold. If you like your foundation to be exactly the same color as your skin, then you should find a foundation that suits your neck tone. So when you're trying foundation, try a little on your forehead, but try a little bit here. And if it works here, you shouldn't have to put it on your neck. However, I meet a lot of people, and it's quite a good tip this time of year, who want to use a foundation that's a little darker than their skin tone because you can feel so pale. So if you're using a foundation like Time Frame, which is a very light coverage, very easy to blend, you do need to make sure that when you're blending onto your face, you buff a little bit just onto the neck area as well. And if you put a very small amount on, it's not going to show, it's not going to transfer onto your collar. You can even apply a little onto the décolletage, because again, I see a lot of sort of dark, you know, if you spent a bit of time in the sun, you can be much, much darker here. In fact, Richard, one of the things that I see a lot of is women who are darker here than they are anywhere else. You know, so
I think there's two things. Number one, you could be obviously tanned. The other thing is very much here, because it's different skin to your face, you can look what I call dull and tired. The skin looks dull and tired, and it's quite hard to lift that tone no matter what you do, unless you're using a product which can genuinely firm and illuminate that skin. So firming it makes it smoother. Smoother makes it more luminous anyway, or appear more luminous, because the light is bouncing. So using the makeup and a good neck product is probably ideal, I would say.
You know, you said to me the other day, and you said it to me before, it's that area that gives you away, right? You know, it's often that area that we don't pay attention to, and as you say, it can give you away. It can give you away a little bit.
Yeah, whenever I do my demos on people or in exhibitions, I always say, "How old are you?" Because it just gives me an idea of how fast my products are going to work. You know, 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
Listen, look. Sorry, the reason I'm laughing is, you know, you and me are such opposite ends of the spectrum, because when I sit a woman in my chair to do her makeup, the last question I would ever ask her, I mean, if we connected with each other quite well, she might volunteer how old she is, but I certainly wouldn't ask her when she sits down. But
oh, it's my favorite question. And then 6 times out of 10, they'll say, "How old do you think I am?"
Oh, now you're in
trouble. So the first thing I do is look at the eyes, because I'm looking for puff and I'm looking for laughter lines. And also the actual eye itself. Then I look at the forehead, because that's the thing that tends to give you a wrinkly. And then for confirmation, I look at the neck. It's the neck that confirms what I think. If I'm still confused, I go to the hands, because they are the other thing that give you away. Cool. But then once I've decided what I think, I then usually take away 10% just to be safe.
Good idea.
99 times out of 100, I'm okay. But eyes, here, then neck. You know, I never start at the neck, because the neck can be, you need 2 or 3 things to give you an idea. But really sometimes this can be very good, and then, you know, the wrinkles are showing, but the neck is the final confirmation. And people spend a lot of time trying to look after their face and just forget their neck. So what I find is a lot of people will wear sort of tight collars or polar necks, or start to wear scarves a lot. And why? Use a good product
So
on
Richard,
neck and décolletage, and will
so
not.
how does décolletage cream
Go on.
differ? Sorry, mate. How does the neck décolletage cream differ from the cream for the face?
Well, it's a different skin. It's thinner skin. And that's one of the issues I had when we were developing our product, is that, yes, we could firm it. Yes, we could take away wrinkles. Yes, we could take down sun damage. Yes, we could make it more luminous. But what we had to do was just find a way of trying to thicken the skin as well. Because when you got turkey neck, if we firm it, if you bend your neck, it'll go back again. So we just had to find a way of actually trying to thicken that skin and plump it even more, so that when you bent your neck, it didn't come back. And that took about a year to get right. So we could do everything else really well, but it took a year to get that balance right. And when we do it live in shows and live on air on TV, honestly, some of the results we get, I know the product's good, but my jaw drops sometimes when, like I said, with that Helen Disney, for instance, very 70 odd, and people say to me sometimes, I'm too old, to do anything about my skin. Well, with our product, it doesn't, the older you are, the more dramatic the change is going to be, albeit it might take a little bit of time. But as you know, with ours, we get immediate results, but more importantly,
the long term
cumulative build. So day 2, you get a better result. After a week, it's even better. After 2 weeks, it's even better. And we go all the way out on some of the tests out to 12 weeks.
Amazing. And would you see because like we were saying before, you can see hyperpigmentation here on the chest sometimes, because it's an area that sees a lot of sun. Could you see the reduction in hyperpigmentation in the chest area as well?
Yes, so our neck and chest will help with that, help reduce it. If you have, issues there, and let's face it, if you are a lady over, say, 45, you didn't use SPF when you were younger, this area tended to be out in the sun more, and you have a lot of damage, then I would say use the night cream here for 3 months or until it's significantly reduced, and then just top up the neck and neck. But if you've got serious issues, serious issues, use the night cream. That's the most powerful for that particular aspect.
Okay, look, so listen, I think that leads me on to something we should definitely talk about. One of the reasons why we're doing a live today, I mean, not just because you and I like to geek out on skincare, but secondly, we are running a competition together at the minute.
It's a fantastic competition.
I know. It's really, we've got some really good prizes. So I'm just going to read it all out again. So you guys are giving away about over £260 worth of Cult 51 with the 3-step essential edit. So anyone who's not tried Cult 51, these are the products that I have been using and Juliet's been using for the last 8 years. They are fantastic. You need to get your hands on them. You are also getting, and the reason why I mention it is just listening to you it's fun and impressive. A consultation with you at Fortnum & Mason's, right? A skincare consultation with you personally asking women how old they are live in Fortnum.
We won't show that, but what we tend to do is, we'll say, how old are you? What do you perceive your issues are? Explain the 20% rule, which is, women think they're 20% less in everything. So 20% less good looking, 20% overweight, 20%. Men, on the other hand, are a bit like the Fonz. I'm 20% fitter, I'm 20% better looking, I'm 20% thinner. And, is to try and explain that these are just normal things.
Yeah, okay. So look, I think that in itself is a great prize. The 200, I mean, your 3-step essential collection, a consultation with you at Fortnum & Mason's, but there's, we're doing £250 worth of Delilah products to go with it. What we call the signature Delilah Glow, with one of our fantastic Delilah makeup artists as well. So an opportunity to get that all in Fortnum & Mason's. Did I miss anything out?
Yes, £100. I think it's £100 gift card. Spend
£100,
in Fortnum & Mason.
which I would go upstairs and have tea with. To be honest with you, I'd have
Oh,
tea
it's
and cake.
fabulous.
It's
Try the mint
fantastic.
tea. It is absolutely phenomenal.
So it's a great giveaway. Please get involved. I think it's going to be live until the sort of 15th or 16th. We're going to get in trouble because I don't know exactly. There we go, 16th.
And how do people enter?
So they can go, well, I think we're going to add a link in our bios. So you should be able to go to our bio afterwards and you can just go straight through to a page on our website and sign up there. Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it. We've put some posts on our social as well about how to sign up.
So you just got to sign up. That's it.
Got to sign up. That's all. And also what you'll get is, if you're not already receiving communications from us about all the wonderful things we do, we'll be sending you that stuff as well. So I only wanted to mention that because you gave such a great tip about using the night cream on the décolletage there until you get it to where it needs to be, and then moving to the neck and deck cream. I think that's such a good tip, mate. That's really, really good.
And
okay.
I guess for all the Delilah customers, we also have a special offer for you if you come onto our website and buy anything, which is Skin 20.
Skin 20. So
Skin 20.
So if any of our Delilah customers go onto the Cult 51 website, they'll get 20% off using the code SKIN20. Okay, so we are doing exactly the same thing. Any of your customers or anyone who wants to use this code, in fact, can get 20% off Delilah by using the code 20CULT51. And you will receive 20%. I need to say this is important because some of our products have got quite a big reduction on them already. Anything that is already reduced, like our kits and collections, you won't be able to get a discount off. But any single items or mainline items, you'll be able to get 20% off. So yeah, I'm glad we were able to slip that in. Right, back on something else that I wanted to talk to you about. We've talked about hyperpigmentation. I've talked a little bit about sort of coverage in the skin, on the skin, and applying full coverage foundation. And the thing is, when you apply something like a full coverage foundation, you tend to be one color from here to here, right? I often say you look a bit like a boiled egg, right? Because everything's the same color. And we know that naturally your skin doesn't look like that. You tend to be a bit warmer in the forehead because you've had a little bit of sun. But also what you get is you should have, when you're nice and healthy, a nice flush to the cheeks. Now, I meet a lot of women who are nervous about wearing blusher. And just to bring you up to speed, Richard, that is the pink product that we use on the cheeks to give a nice...
And it's not called rouge.
It's not called rouge. Well, you can call it rouge if you want. You know, if you're a Victorian.
Yeah, I called it rouge when we were having a little chat, and that you started to roar with laughter.
Blush. We call it blush or blusher these days. Now, I meet a lot of women that are nervous about wearing blusher because they've already got quite a lot of redness in their skin. And often as we get a bit older, if we've been a bit exposed to the elements, we can get kind of pinkness and kind of thread veins and redness in the skin there. I guess my first question to you before I give some tips about it is, from a skincare point of view, is there some things that can be done about that, about those kind of broken capillaries in the skin?
100%. So both our night cream and our day cream have benefits there. They what's called rebalance the skin, and it physically gives you younger looking skin, and actually physically gives you younger skin, and we can prove that.
Right.
And again, it's like anything. I always regard you as a painter. I regard me as the canvas. So if I give you a better canvas, you're going to create a better painting. And all of our products will give you that sort of canvas. So, you know, in terms of rebalancing your skin, using the night cream and the day cream, for instance. And then the other thing that I find interesting is that, you know, around the eyes, you're using, or some people are using, quite a heavy concealer because of puffiness and darkness.
Right.
Well, if you use our eye repair, this eye repair has got 15% pure oxygen in it. So 15% of this formula is a liquid holding 100% oxygen.
Okay, why is that a good thing? You're going to need to explain to us why holding 15% oxygen is a good thing.
Well, hardly any other product holds any oxygen at all. So 15% of a liquid that's holding 100% oxygen is incredible in its own right. So it's a patented process that we have. So oxygen is your body's turbo repair process. So, you know, if you listen to not Mo Salah, what's the runner? Mo Farah, not Salah, Mo Farah.
Voice from
So
God
he
in
would
the
train
background.
at high altitude, which is not very much oxygen, and then he sleeps in an oxygen tent.
Yeah.
Why? Because oxygen helps you repair. So if you sprain your ankle, put some frozen peas on it. Why? Frozen peas reduce the temperature. Your body reacts and pumps blood to it to warm it
Oh,
up.
it's got oxygen in it.
Oxygen.
Right.
So oxygen is a turbo repair process. Now this area here, you can have genetic puffing, but usually this is poor blood circulation. So dark is deoxygenated blood. So if you get a cut, you get a scab, the scab goes dark.
Yeah.
Puffiness is water, and all it is poor blood circulation. So the product anyway increases blood circulation, but oxygen is to blood what nectar is to bees. So as you apply it, it brings the blood forward. What does blood do? Blood do its primary job, pick up deoxygenated blood, take it back to the heart, reoxygenate it, send it back out. So you reduce the darkness quickly. And then once it's got around 65% of that, it then switches its attention to water. Water is puff. So you can take that down very quickly. So I'm going to generalize. If you're under 30 and no children, the key is no children, no stress. You know, you could stay out till 4 o'clock in the morning, put that on 15 minutes. You look as if you've got 8 hours sleep.
You've lost the puffiness, yeah.
The moment you've got children, you apply it more often. If you've got very constant issues here, use it night and morning for 14 days. Within that 14-day period, if you're under 40, should be gone. If you're under 50, 90%. If you're under 60, 80%. And that removes the need for concealer.
It does.
But actually, my point was that a lot of these blurring products and a lot of concealers are very, very heavy. And actually, if it rains or you start having any facial sort of movement, they start to crack. What's your tip?
Well, it's interesting. So the first thing would be a skincare tip. I mean, look, cracks, you know, one of the reasons why women don't like to wear concealer is it ends up in the fine lines and therefore ends up accentuating, almost exaggerating the fine lines. If you can smooth those fine lines out, and you've said to me in the past that fine lines, there's some, and you love a percentage, but I know it's a very high percentage, the number. Fine lines are normally caused by dehydration, right? So if you can hydrate properly underneath the eye and hydrate that skin so it's smoother, the concealer will last a little bit longer. The second thing I would say is don't conceal where you don't need to, right? Often we read about just applying concealer in a U shape underneath the eye, but often we're putting concealer where we don't need it. That darkness that you were talking about tends to be in the corner of the eye here, whereas fine lines tend to be in the outside corner. So you really don't need to put any concealer here. Try and keep it where that darker area is. And actually, as we get a bit older, we get a little bit darker at the side of the nose there. I started my career doing makeup for television many years ago, and if we wanted to make an actor look 10 years older, we'd take a bluey brown eyeshadow and put it on the inside of the nose there, and immediately, you know, it would give that kind of aging effect. So if you can brighten that area with your concealer. And then my last point would be, I guess if we're talking about puffy eyes, here's the thing about puffy eyes. You don't want to highlight that, let's call it a bag, right? Let's call it the bag underneath the eye, right? That puffiness. You don't want to put a lighter color there because you're highlighting it. So again, I'm going to talk about that tip where you pick a slightly darker color concealer, because if you highlight it, you're bringing it forward. If you use a warmer color, you're going to push it back a little bit. The last thing I want to say is this, Richard, light is everything, okay? So often, look, let me turn this off a little bit. Let me just turn this down. Look how much that changes depending on where I am. Now, if you wake up in the morning and stand in front of your bathroom mirror with your bathroom light on, you're going to imagine that you've got dark circles where you haven't got them. Because most of the time when we walk around in daylight, our skin tends to look a little bit more kind of like this, right? So you've ended up doing your concealer now where you put way too much on, and then you walk around in the daylight. Oh, the wonders of a ring flash, eh? And all of a sudden it looks like you've got too much on. So I would say, try and get a nice light up mirror, or try and do your concealer where it's lit a little bit better.
So daylight or bright light What?
Daylight is the best way to do your makeup if you can. But you know, those of us who get up very early in the morning, there is no daylight at the minute. You can buy some illuminated mirrors. I've just bought one for Juliet. I bought a great one for Juliet by a brand called Ricky Loves Ricky. They're a little bit expensive, but I mean, it's a great investment. It's got LEDs around it like this, and early in the morning, or even, you know, if we're going out during the festive period, it's dark in the evenings and Juliet needs to do her makeup, she'll have a nice, she's got this light, you know, before she was using the torch on her iPhone, you know, in our bedroom trying to get some light. But what I would say is get yourself a nice light up mirror to use in the morning, to use in the evenings, and you'll put the right amount of makeup on. Instead of having that moment from Bridget Jones, you probably haven't watched Bridget Jones's Diary, where she's doing her makeup in the taxi and she puts all her rouge on, and when she turns up at the event, it looks like she's had an allergic reaction. Her face is kind of bright red. So yeah, I guess my third tip would be get a really good light up mirror.
And it's interesting what you say about makeup on lines, because wrinkles look like wrinkles because the light doesn't get to the bottom of it.
Right.
It doesn't get to the bottom of the wrinkle.
Of course.
And so if you use the wrong type of makeup or the wrong type of coverage, it accentuates the darkness, which makes your wrinkle look even more.
Exactly.
And I guess around the eyes, if like with this product, the eye repair, we take down wrinkles by an average of 54% in just 5 minutes.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
So that means, you know, easier makeup again, as you say.
And that's the solution, Richard. There really is, you know, we talked about the types of things that people say when they sit down in front of us and we're doing a consultation, we're doing makeup. One of the things that people will say when they sit in my makeup chair is they'll say, and I'll say, we're going to do your makeup. They say, is there anything you can do about my wrinkles? The truth is, no. Makeup doesn't hide wrinkles. You know, makeup in some situations can make, and let's say fine lines instead. Makeup can make fine lines look worse. The real answer is great skincare. You know, if you want to address fine lines, makeup is not the answer. It's never going to hide it. It's always going to be a skincare product that works really, really well.
Yeah, and for me, makeup should be enhancing what you've got, not covering it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, you know, the thing is that with what we do is there's so much information out there. It's overwhelming for people, you know, and I think if you can find a couple of tips and tricks that work for you, you know, sitting down in front of someone who can do a consultation for you and recommend the right products for you and say, like you did at the beginning of our live today, okay, what are your concerns? What are we going to focus on? What are we going to prove? And in your case, it's going to be puffuless or fine lines or hyperpigmentation. In my case, it's going to be, okay, you know, we're going to do a better job with your eyebrows. You know, we're going to teach you how to really perfect getting your eyebrows right, which is going to open up the eyes or make you look younger. And it's about just, yeah, picking one or two things and just making incremental improvements on it.
Yes. You know, how do you simplify your makeup though? I'm, as you know, I'm a makeup Luddite. So if I'm a lady and I've got, I don't know, 20 products and they're different tones, you know, how do I try and simplify what I'm doing?
Okay, the first thing I think you need to look at is there should only be about 4 products that you use on a daily basis. I think a good makeup routine should only be about 4 products. Something for your skin, something for your cheeks, something for your eyes, something for your lips, something for your brows. You know, if you just something quick that you can learn to do if you're rushing out the door. I know that there will be lots of people watching who do more than that, but I think you should learn how to do your makeup with about 4 or 5 products. So if you can learn to do that, if you need to look at your makeup bag and think, okay, Rupert said 5 products, what would those 5 products be? Some people watching are going to say, I only use 3 products, in which case I would say, okay, maybe you're using 3 products, but you're putting too much of those products on. Maybe put less on, but just pick a couple more products. And I think, yeah, simplifying it that way and just thinking skin, cheeks, eyes, lips, and brows, pick your favorite product for each of those and apply those. And then, as I was saying before, as you get better at that, you can start cocktailing products together. So your primer and your illuminator and your foundation cocktail together could just count as one product. That's probably where I'd start.
So it's like if you were going to be stranded on a desert island, which 4 products would you take?
Exactly
Which are the
that.
4 products you cannot do without?
Exactly that. You know, it's interesting you asked, Richard, because one of the things, you know, we in the beauty industry are being forced to look at, and it's great, but it's becoming standardized, is sustainability. God, this is another hour that we could do, right? You know, we are using these products on a daily basis, and people are out there buying lots of beauty products, which would be great because there'd be no industry if there wasn't for that. But I'm a great believer in buying products that you use until you've finished, right? And then you go and buy something else. You know, that's what I think that people should be doing with their skincare routine and their makeup routine. Find a product that you get to the end of rather than going and buying something else. Use it until you've finished it and then go out and buy something else. So it leads me to a quick question. I realize we've only got 5 minutes left. There is a little bit of a myth in skincare. I hear people saying this all the time. Oh, I used to use a product, but it stopped working on me because my skin got used to it. So I had to change to something else. Is that a thing?
No.
I did.
There's several things to that, really. One is the psychosomatic effect is very powerful. If you truly believe something will work, do you know what? It's likely to work. And this is a proven scientific concept.
Yeah, true.
So you think, you know, you use a product for something, whatever it is. So you bought a moisturizer, or and very often you see with brands, 60 people out of 75 felt their skin was smoother, and you think, oh, it's smoother.
Right.
But it's only a temporary effect. It's only a partial effect, and you know, so whatever you got on day 1 and day 2, you're not improving on 3, 4, 5, 6. So you think your skin's used to it. So very few products will continue to deliver. And we always say with our products, take a picture on your phone before, and then compare after a week, after a day, after 2 weeks, after 3 weeks, after 4 weeks, and you will see incremental benefits continuously throughout. Now, can I make a 60-year-old look like 5? No. There's a limit to where you can go. But that's the thing, is that unless you're getting a cumulative build, a better and better and better and better result, your skin gets whatever it's going to get, whatever benefit it's going to get, and then it stops. And then you think your skin's used to it because you haven't got any better results, because the product's not designed to do that. With all of our products, they are all cumulative builds. So that means if we reduce your wrinkle 50% in 1 day, after 2 weeks, it's 60%. After 4 weeks, it's 65%. That's what I mean, is that you keep getting benefits. And we take most of our tests out to 6 weeks. Some of them we take out to 12 weeks. And bear in mind, a clinical is anywhere between 30 and 100,000 pounds per product. So it is quite an investment. You've done the work. If it doesn't work, that's a waste of money. So that's the difference. No, your skin, yes, your skin gets used to it. So you've got the benefit that you get, and then it stops after a few days, because very few products will give you that cumulative build. So how long? I mean, I guess the answer is how long is a piece of string. But you know, how, you know, if you want to, I mean, yes, you'll see some great effects when you put some product on immediately. But how long do you think it will take for you to see some real long-term benefits? You know, I mean, what I'm saying is sometimes people will use a product for a couple of weeks and say, oh, you know, I'm not getting the benefits anymore, or well,
I haven't seen that many.
I'll reverse the question. Is that just read the box, and does it say it will give you a long-term benefit? Because I mean, as you know, I've been in the industry a long time. I've been involved with a lot of brands. I've never met any woman in the UK who hasn't used a product I've been involved with ever. And I can tell you as a categorical fact, I can count on the one hand how many products will give you benefits over the short term. Sorry, over the long term. So increase. Right. And that's the whole raison d'etre of Cult 51. And we've only got 1 minute, but it's got to give you some quick results, yes, but each day you get better and better and better and better. And we've done that all the way out to 6 and 12 weeks. And
Yes.
every person at every criteria at every time frame has measured significant benefit. It doesn't matter whether we use 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and every single person has had those benefits. And we've only got about 30 seconds, so
Have we? Does it still kick you off, Colin? I know Colleen's watching. Colin, is it going to kick us off in 30 seconds?
I think it does. No,
no, I don't. I'm not sure it will. But listen, anyway, we've been.
but go on the bio. Go for the competition. It costs you nothing.
Definitely,
£700
definitely go
prize.
for the competition. Yeah, absolutely. Link to the bio. And look, we would love you. We'd love you to win some products. If not, go on the website. Use the codes that we've talked about as well. 20% off Delilah. 20% off Colt 51. Look, Richard, it's always fascinating, and an hour seems to fly by. Do you know what I mean? I always forget that we're doing a live because it's so interesting for me to learn about it. But
yeah, well, it's only because I've got Anya stood here going, it's time. And I'm going, it can't be, it's only 30 minutes, surely. He's going, no.
Well, we'll have to do another one. You know, what we started talking about there with sustainability is something we need to come back to. But look, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Also, thanks for getting involved with the prizes and everything. It's fantastic. We must get together for a plus one. Say again.
Thank you to everyone who's watching.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, everybody. Have a great evening and stay safe, everyone. Okay. Cheers.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye. Oh, what was our peak viewing? Do we know?